Hey everyone, Christian Bates with Longevity Power. And today we're going to make the ultimate UnCoffee shake. Now this shake is for grounding and giving you just the most amazing, deep, long, burning energy that is totally the opposite of a stimulant, yet even more powerful. I mean, we're talking about tonic herbs, super grounding, high quality organic ingredients that will just make your nervous system just like melt with goodness and happiness and have your body just like ready to be pumped up. So I'm making this before heading out and going to the gym. You can make this any time of day. You can make it as a dessert, you can make it as a breakfast, you can make it as a meal replacement. Alright, so we're going to start with some really nice gynostemma tea. Gynostemma, ding, is one of the top Chinese tonic herbs. This is organic gynostemma tea. It tastes great. It's going to lend itself to the flavor that we're going for here. And we're doing about 2 cups of warm gynostemma tea. If you don't have gynostemma, no problem at all. Just use some warm spring water or warm, really high quality water. Definitely not tap water. Filter that tap water or even go out to a wild spring and bottle your own. Okay, so this is a warm base. Why warm? Because we want to emulsify some fats. We're going to start with some ghee, and this is ghee that I just made today. Ghee. This is clarified butter. This is butter that doesn't have casein or lactose in it. The cooking process of making ghee basically allows you to skim off those allergenic portions of dairy. So for me, I'm really sensitive to dairy, except for ghee. My body loves ghee. So about 5 tablespoons of the ghee. Approximately. We don't have to be exact with this at all. And ghee is just it's just good fat. It's fat that burns well. It doesn't stick to your ribs. It goes in and nourishes your nervous system. It has all kinds of anti-inflammatory fatty acids in it. We want to emulsify that fat with some lecithin powder. Non-GMO lecithin. Avoid lecithin that's bottled in plastic because it's just notoriously, you can kind of smell that it's oxidized, maybe rancid a little bit usually. There's a lot of lecithins to choose from. There's even a company called Lekistos that has organic sunflower liquid lecithin. That would be an interesting variation to this recipe. About 5 tablespoons as well. Lecithin also amazing because of the phospholipids in it for the nervous system. It's just a super brain booster. I mean, this elixir is definitely also going to count as a nootropic, which means that it increases cognitive function. Absolutely. So if you're taking this while you're working or studying, then you really have a winning strategy going. Okay, next we need to balance our fats with our proteins. Have that nice base of creaminess. And this is going to be a carnivorous base. We're going to use some collagen powder. This is grass-fed beef collagen. You can use any kind of protein powder that you want. There are a lot of protein powders to choose from. There's whey protein if whey agrees with you. There's various like organic / really high quality natural pesticide free style plant seed based protein powders, the pea proteins, the rice proteins. Those are all great. You can even like hit this hard with like blue-green algae. But I want to go for the healing style gut healing bone. This is basically the equivalent of like bone broth powder. And we're going to do 3/4 of a cup. Seems like a lot, but this is actually a really fluffy protein. It's really like light compared to the fat. Alright, that is our base, but we want to add our medicine. So we have our macronutrients here. There's a lot of micronutrients in the fats and the proteins, but now we want to go strictly towards heavy on the micronutrients, because micronutrients are what our body needs. It's what our immune system needs to feed the immune system, to feed the nervous system, to feed our body's mineral capacity. We want all kinds of trace minerals in our body, so let's go for some tonic herbs. Now, tonic herbs include dozens and dozens of herbs from around the world, and some of the most notable and most studied of them are the medicinal mushrooms. Let's put in some epic reishi. Reishi mushroom is the most studied medicinal mushroom in the world. It's often considered the most studied herb on the planet by far scientifically. It's also been used for thousands of years on billions of people. So reishi is going to actually lend itself to the coffee-like flavor we're going. Actually, I'm going to use a little decaf coffee in this, so we're going for straight up coffee flavor, not just coffee-like. The spores that are in reishi, epic reishi. So this is a blend of organic herb-grown reishi fruit body extract and organic herb-grown reishi spores. Spores, the seeds that come out of the mushroom fruit body, are jam-packed with all kind of immune-strengthening nutrients, and they happen to have a really good coffee-like flavor. So just about a teaspoon. Now if you don't mind a little extra bitter, if you want this to be like a triple espresso flavored shake, then you could use more. Everybody has a different sensitivity to the bitter overtones of reishi. I personally love it. I was never a coffee drinker, but I did love my mochas as a kid, and I never really got hooked on any of the caffeine, but I love the aroma, and so I love that bitter kick. And it's really good to cultivate a taste for bitters, whether the bitters are coming in the form of herbs or green leafy vegetables or even spices, which would count, you know, with they have their bitter side. To have a taste for bitter is going to make you sweet. To crave only sweets without doing your bitter is going to make you bitter, if you think about that. So basically, if you're only doing sweets, you're not really nourishing your body. You're probably like feeding like candida overgrowth, and that's going to create mood swings and make you bitter. But if you get the bitter nutrients into your body, and then you cut, so this is going to be a low glycemic elixir today, and you cut out carbs to your own degree. Everybody has a different adventure with their carbohydrate needs, but if you cut it out to the point, which maybe doesn't require that much cutting for some people, and maybe for some people like me, I'm taking a huge break from carbohydrates, like sweet, high glycemic carbohydrates, then it levels the blood sugar and makes you naturally a more sweet person. So we have reishi, and then we also have medicinal mushroom blend, mushroom immunity. This is 34 medicinal mushroom concentrates in one. Also a wonderful coffee-like flavor. Let's do a teaspoon or so with this stuff. Chaga mushroom, turkey tail mushroom, cordyceps, plus 24 other species in total. All right, let's do a little bit of decaf coffee. You could do an actual coffee. I mean, you could actually caffeinate this if you wanted to. You could do a decaf espresso shot. If you have the freeze-dried decaf organic coffee, and just do a little bit. I'm just going to put this the tiniest bit in here just to get the true overtones of coffee. You could also put one of the faux coffee extract powders. So it's not coffee at all. It's usually like roasted grain extracts. There's products like Dandy Blend that a lot of people love. That would be great. Oh, and one more big herb, Hoshuwu. Hoshuwu has a good malty coffee-like flavor as well, and it is by far, yeah, we'll do at least a teaspoon of this stuff. It is by far one of the most nourishing substances on the planet. Super high in antioxidants. My Longevity Power Hoshuwu extract is concentrated to 8% stilbean glycosides. And the stilbeans are like resveratrol. They're super antioxidants that have a huge human active impact on the cells. Very rejuvenating, revitalizing, tissue repair, reversing quality. I mean, it makes you glow. Hoshuwu is known for having such an antioxidant potential that it can even help reverse gray hair or restore hair color. That's what it's known for, actually. The term Hoshuwu is translated to Mr. Ho's black hair. Next is a little sweetener. Gotta have that sweetener. I'm gonna do about half teaspoon or so, maybe a little bit more for me because I love stevia. Cal brand stevia, K-A-L. There's a couple other brands out there that are great. A lot of stevias have a funky aftertaste, so don't let one brand stevia ruin your taste for stevia. So if you're like, oh no, I don't like stevia, it has that weird chemical licorice aftertaste, you haven't tried them all. Like, experiment, do less stevia curbed with another sweetener, and the stevia will actually allow you to get a full sweetness when you're putting more bitter compounds into your concoctions. I would recommend that instead of just doing straight stevia like I'm going to do today, do at least one other sweetener. it could be honey, or if you want to go lower glycemic, it could be xylitol or erythritol. You could even experiment with some of the root concentrates like Jerusalem artichoke syrup or Yukon syrup. You could go with the good old-fashioned maple syrup. There's of course coconut sap syrup. Some of these are going to be higher in fructose, sucrose, glucose, you know, basically higher glycemic. Some of them are going to be much more low glycemic. Stevia and erythritol seem to be the lowest glycemic. There's also glycerin. Glycerin's a little bit funky, but it is nice sometimes to play with just as a little bit of a sweetener. Stevia doesn't have body to its sweetness, whereas all the sweeteners I just mentioned have both sweetness and body. Stevia is just intense sweetness, and I feel that because of the lecithin protein and ghee, there is still kind of a slightly sweet body, and that's where I feel I can get away with just sweetening it with stevia. If you're on a super healing protocol, anti-candida protocol, you may wish to gradually get to just stevia and see how that works for your body for at least a period of time, maybe for a few months, to see what kind of changes you can get by not feeding the critters all that free sugar. To bring out our sweetness and flavor, we want to add a little sea salt. I'm going to use this black sea salt. It's basically wholesome sea salt mixed with activated charcoal, which will just give us a hint more extra, about a third or so teaspoon, a hint of an extra coffee-like flavor. Now, as it's warm, first we're going to blend it and emulsify it. Oh yeah, so good. I mean, that smell, it's like a coffee roastery going on in here. Now, I want warm beverages sometimes, but I really love my ice-cold shakes. Something about that coldness just brings out the flavor. So I'm going to put a whole bunch of ice in here. Let's say at least 2 cups, depending on the iciness that you want for your final shake. And because this is pretty warm, you might err on just a little extra ice to turn it into that ice cream shake consistency. And I almost forgot, let's definitely add a little vanilla extract just to bring out that good flavor. You could also add cinnamon powder. And we shall pour this into a fancy schmancy pint mason jar. It's so good. You know, I love sharing recipes, but ultimately what I'm really sharing with you is a blueprint so that you can vary the recipe based on your own body's needs. Because very quickly, as the more you try new foods and the more you experiment with blending them, the more you just learn about your body. The more you start to trust your own intuition on your body's needs. You never will crave what you've never had. So by having herbs and things that maybe are newer to you, you will turn certain things on in your body. You will start to hit your genetic and epigenetic capacity to go beyond where you ever thought was possible with your health, with your nervous system function, right? Like, does something like, if someone were to scare you, would your nervous system get jittered more easily? Well, maybe you need to just load up your nervous system with more high quality fats and tonic herbs. Does your immune system break down easily if you get stressed, work too hard, travel a lot? Do you end up with, various things like cold sores, getting the flu, or just getting a really, raspy throat, just getting down where you can tell that your immune system is low? Maybe you're just eating a lot of things that aren't actually agreeing with you anymore. Maybe they used to agree with you. But our body does definitely change over time. And if you're getting more into health and more into fitness, your body's changing at a remarkable rate. I mean, you gotta trust that. You have an innate desire to shift with the seasons, with your location. Yeah. So tell me in the comments section below, what flavor of shake would you like me to make next? I'll definitely make it. I'm on a video making kick right now. I'll see you tomorrow.